recorded, so please, no vulgarity, no ranting about your coworkers, because these meetings are uploaded and distributed throughout our portfolio of schools. All right, and I just want to welcome to our, I just want to extend a welcome to our returning commission members, our core commission members, especially all of our industry partners, all of our stakeholders, all of our educators, assistant principals, teachers, everybody. Welcome. This is the first commission meeting of this school year, and this Automotive and Transportation Commission, we've actually been around for 8 years now. We've been around since 2013. I was actually a part of this commission before I got to DOE Central. I myself was an industry partner, and our executive director, Harini Venkatesh, she was in my role, and she was running these meetings with the colleagues that she had at the time. And we've come such a far way since those days. Our commission has greatly expanded. We've done so many internships. We've had so many job placements. We've been able to share so many resources and opportunities with each other. So if you have any sort of interest, any sort of desire and love for education, automotive, aviation, maritime, logistics, transportation, transit, this is the place to be. And so just welcome to everybody. Our commission is chaired by two giants in the industry. We all should know Keith Kerman, one of my favorite industry partners. And as I always say in these meetings, he's a family man. I look up to him. He's a public servant. And this is a guy where, even though he has such an incredibly high position in New York City, I must say, anytime I need anything from Keith Kerman or Brent Taylor or Eric Richardson, Keith and his team, they are so responsive, and I feel like they are a part of our DOE system in anything that we need, and they're always looking out for our educators, always looking out for our kids. So Keith, I just want to thank you for everything that you and your team does. And we also want to welcome Daniel Cardoza from MTA New York City Transit. He will be co-chairing this commission alongside Keith. We'll be hearing from him in a few minutes. And again, just to remind everyone, in case you need to reach me for anything at all, my email address, greed10@schools.nyc.gov. And all meeting notes for this meeting and for all meetings that we have, the presentation slides, the contact information of our other members, and any other thing you need, they will be accessible on our public folder on our Google Drive. You should be able to see that in front of your screen, bit.ly/CTE commissions. You'll see all meeting resources, notes, sign-in sheets, everything you need from this commission and all 8 commissions that are overseen by our CTE office. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our co-chair, Keith Kerman from the Department of Citywide Administrative Services. He's going to give us some updates about what's been happening in DCAS and in the industry overall. Take it away, Keith.
Okay, all right, thank you very much, and good to be with you all, if virtually, and but we are starting to get back to some in-person meetings. We did an in-person event at One Police Plaza this morning and 2 virtual events, so we're splitting it, but we're getting back to things. I want to just give you a quick update on where we are in supporting the Department of Ed, and one initiative we really want to put some emphasis on this year. So first, our internship is back, and we had a really nice, little smaller last summer, but a nice, really productive program. A lot of really good vibe about the students, especially the police department. And we want to just keep going and grow that for next year. Tamika Johnson from my group helped coordinate it this year. And so we just want to do more of that. And of course, try and get as many of your students into our auto service worker positions as we can, and kind of create that direct pathway. But we were happy to be back. We lost 1 year and happy to be back. We continue to support the schools with vehicles. It's currently 20 vehicles that we are assigning to schools, both for educational purpose and in terms of training, and also for the to the extent there's the driver education. We provide electric cars for the on-road driver ed, but also, I know we just worked out a Prius very recently that Gav was involved with. And I believe for Tottenville, we're doing an engine today, so with the police department. So where we can get you vehicles and engines or other equipment that you can use and support your shops, we'll try and do that. We're doing 20 now, and we'll do more where we can. Obviously interested to the extent, we're doing some hybrids, and I don't know if we've done an all electric yet, but that may be the future. A lot of our Nissan Leafs are actually reaching 10 plus years. We actually have gone through a whole life cycle. So if there's a all electric you want to kind of take a stab at, and that we're going to have some older units soon. We've done a couple really good events promoting careers, these career fairs, and we've been working with DOE on that, also with our own recruitment office here at DCAS, and want to do more. I mean, those were really well attended and I think very productive. Obviously, we have a pathway, which is the auto service worker civil service exam, where you could come right in from the school, right into a job. But promoting the industry and the careers and fleet as well, and reminding people, the COVID experience, if it was anything, reminded us how critical transportation jobs and fleet jobs are to like all of our lives and how we actually function. We tried to do some online EV hybrid training stuff. I don't know how successful it was in my own universe, in my own world with the city mechanics or with all of you, but we continue to extend the offer. If online training, and we had one agency that did a lot of it, Department of Transportation at the mechanic side did hundreds of classes, and very few others did. But to the extent this is helpful and can fit into your world, this is what we offer, and we're here to share it. I will say that we're planning to do some in-person EV and hybrid training this year. And we have a lot of interest for the city mechanics. And so to the extent that some of that would be of interest to you, it could be helpful to you, we would share that. I'm getting a note that my internet connection is unstable, so hopefully that's not interrupting your ability to hear me. We also, one thing we want to do this year, and the last big thing I want to talk about, is we want to promote sustainability everywhere we can, right? The electric vehicle is really on its way, and we're seeing the marketplace move to electric vehicles, and it's got buzz. It's, we have Super Bowl ads now, and the president's driving, a Ford pickup electric truck, right? It's starting to really move. So we want to do everything we can with the schools to promote sustainability. And anyone, we have this pamphlet that we use and we distribute. We're happy to give that out. Anywhere you give me a place I can distribute this and promote it, I will. We have this emerging relationship with Biology Bus, really interesting nonprofit located in Brooklyn. They got a whole lab in biology and microscopes in that bus, solar charging on the top. We're fueling them with biodiesel. So they're available to do school-based education programs tied to sustainability. And it's a nice group we want to support. We want to find a way to kind of make EV sexier. And we've got one guy who can do it, the guy named Eric Ritter, who's a sanitation mechanic, just broke the world speed record in an electric vehicle a little while ago. So if you go in that link, you can see the YouTube videos. You can actually be in the cab as he drives out in, I think it's out in the Arizona desert, but interesting. And he's available to go talk to maybe the Auto High students. So we asked him if he would go do a kind of go to the schools and talk about electric vehicles and talk about speed racing, which is itself a pretty interesting thing, right? So if something like that would be of interest, we want to do more to promote and educate sustainability. We worked with a guy named Kaya Sinan years ago to do this question power video. It's awesome. Take a look at it. He announced it at an event of ours. We're going to be doing some more to do a video. We've done a lot of safety videos as part of Vision Zero. We want to do some kind of fun, interesting videos promoting sustainability in electric cars for the general audience, for high schoolers and general, for everyday people who don't follow this along. So look forward to that, and we want to share that with education. Then, of course, we're going big on electrification. We've committed to an all-electric fleet. The mayor just announced a $75 million investment in charging and electric vehicles and repowering. We're going to make another announcement, even bigger than that, potentially soon. We'll see. We hope. And one piece of it, which I guess we should talk about and how it might relate to the automotive program, we're going to an all-electric school bus fleet, right? That's the law now. The city has passed a law to go to an all-electric school bus fleet. 10,750 units. I track them all out of my telematics place. So we have our first 3, and then we have some. Logan has repowered some on the private side. We have our first 3 in-house. So we'd be interested in how that might tie into the automotive program, right? That's going to be one of the biggest electrification projects in the United States. 10,700 units has to be done by 2035 by law. So we're interested in how that might tie into the automotive program, and whether you see some linkages. That said, I just want to say it's, we DCAS, we support what you're doing. We think that vocational training and fleet training is critical. I am a public high school graduate from a long time ago, but I was in what they called co-op ed, same program, just a different name. And it was a great experience for me. I remember it well, even though now I'm getting to be an old man. And so we're just here to do whatever we can to support you, and, let us know, what we can do. And with that, I give it back to Gab.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Keith. And again, I just wanted to welcome all of our folks who are just now logging in. Sapna, I see you there. Welcome so much. Thank you so much for joining us. And I wanted to announce that we have a new co-chair of our commission, the famous Dan Cardoza from MTA New York City Transit. This is a very, very big figure that we have in the transportation industry. I'm very, very honored that he has accepted our offer to be our co-chair. And Dan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thank you. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Danny Cardoza. I'm currently the acting chief maintenance officer for MTA New York City Transit Department of Buses and the MTA Bus Company. I'm proud to say that I was born and raised in Staten Island, New York, and I continue to reside there with my wife and kids. As a native Staten Islander, I am familiar with the New York City school system, and I understand the importance of the CTE programs from personal experience. Today at the MTA, I'm currently responsible for the Maintenance Support and Engineering Division. This division is responsible for establishing and ensuring adherence to maintenance policies, including improving reliability, safety, and providing customer service to the operating divisions consisting of 28 bus depots. Some responsibilities include maintaining the entire bus fleet of approximately 5,800 buses, managing new bus procurement contracts and warranties, developing system-wide bus fleet plans, maintenance training, advancing new bus technology, including the zero emissions bus program, and developing improvements in bus design and maintenance to reduce road calls and improve mean distance between failures. We also develop procedures for the scheduled operations, bus inspections, and work scopes for the shop overhaul programs. In addition, the Maintenance Support and Engineering Division is responsible for 3 bus overhaul shops, fabrication shops, maintenance and procurement of the non-revenue and vocational vehicle fleets. Prior to my current position, during my 28-year career with the MTA, I have held jobs of increasing responsibility. I began my career with the MTA in 1993 as a bus maintainer, and I was promoted through the years to various positions such as maintenance supervisor, superintendent of maintenance, assistant general superintendent of maintenance, assistant chief maintenance officer, and most recently, the deputy chief maintenance officer. I have worked both in bus operations in depots and held supporting roles along the way. During my time as superintendent, I not only worked in the bus depot, but I also had an opportunity to be an instructor for the Department of Buses Maintenance Training Center. As an instructor, I trained new hired bus maintainers in the electrical discipline, and I also trained newly promoted supervisors in our supervisory program. Prior to working for the MTA, as a young man, I worked as an auto mechanic for independent repair shops and rapidly worked my way up to shop foreman and ultimately an auto repair shop manager. So you may be wondering, how did I get there? Back in 1983, my parents wondered how they could help me with a future roadmap. I was not engaged with my schoolwork at Newdorf High School and struggling with my grades. I was tired of my core classes and lost interest. I did, however, enjoy repairing cars with my friends in the neighborhood. My parents and I found out that there was a shared instruction program with a school called Mckee Vocational High School, where there was an automotive program. we learned I could still do my core classes at Newdorp for half a day and travel to Mckee for automotive shop classes. This was a no-brainer. Sign me up. 3 men over the next 3 years would become major role models in my life. I still remember their names, Mr. Geary, Mr. Cod, and Mr. Chris. Those were my teachers. I truly loved my time at Mckee, even earning an achievement award in 1985. I remember that in 1985, that was the year we learned all about engines. In the shop, we had engines mounted on stands. I was assigned a Chrysler 318 V8. The goal was to tear the engine down, rebuild it, and get the engine running. Many students did not make progress in the engine shop, but to us students, starting the engine was a really big deal. I had great success with my Chrysler 318. Not only did I put the engine back together, but I did start the engine and we got it to run well. I can still clearly remember the days leading up to starting the engine because we needed to ask Mr. Cod to get some gasoline. Today, my youngest daughter, Danielle, attends Susan Wagner High School, and she is currently enrolled in a CTE program called Virtual Enterprises. I can tell you that that's her favorite class and her favorite teacher. Personally knowing how important these CTE programs are, I am grateful for this opportunity to help our future students grow and someday enter the workforce. Not only do we need mechanics and technicians to enter the workforce, but we need those same people to be future leaders to take on supervisory, trainer, and managerial roles. I hope my input will add value to the commission so that we may achieve our goals. So thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you so much, Dan. Welcome aboard again. And just a reminder to everyone, please feel free to connect with other folks in this Zoom meeting that we have. We have 45 people on board, so please, by all means, connect to other educators, connect with our industry partners that you see in attendance today. Now, earlier, Keith had mentioned about his work in our CTE system. And it's because of him and Eric and that team that we were able to provide a Toyota Prius to Mckee High School. And I wanted to now highlight TJ from Mckee High School. He is their CTE automotive teacher. And I must say that we were in a bind when it comes to finding automotive teachers. And I know that Mckee had spent some time trying to find somebody who's very, very qualified. So I'm extremely pleased to welcome him to our commission and congratulate him on his new position with Mckee. I'm going to turn it over to you, TJ. Tell us about how you've been doing automotive instruction and give us some insight into the work that you do.
Hey, everybody. This is super exciting to meet all of these wonderful connected people with this industry. And I'm super excited to be at Mckee. Hang on, let me get this going. Okay, so this is my 16th year of teaching. I was teaching physics for 15 years prior to this. But before that, I grew up working for my dad. He owns a collision repair shop on Staten Island. He's also a Mckee graduate, believe it or not, so a little legacy there. And he went through the plumbing program at Mckee back in the 70s. So he's had a shop on Staten Island locally since 1982. The shop's named after me because he opened it when I was born. And I worked there repairing crash cars, started out sweeping floors and cleaning the toilet and, like putting parts away and doing oil changes and brakes and other things that weren't so auto body related, but eventually I spent a lot of time working there full-time and part-time with him, and I learned a lot from him. He is a perfectionist. He has a very good reputation, and I hope that I can pass some of that like wisdom and stubbornness and grit that he has and persistence on to my students. That's really exciting to be able to take what he values so much and push that out to my kids. That's really exciting. Before this, I was working at the New York City I School, which is located above the Chelsea CTE campus in Soho. But I am brand new to the CTE world, so I'm super excited to be here. So before we get to the really cool car that you all donated, and by the way, I also used to work for the Parks Department, and I remember when these Priuses came in, I was a tractor driver. I used to cut the grass in Staten Island in Clove Lakes Park. And when these Priuses came in, we got not the Leaf, but we got a Chrysler EV, like golf cart. They were super exciting when they came in, and they were revamping the garages to accept these new vehicles. And that was like back in 2005, I believe, is when they first started to come in. So it's super exciting to actually get one of these old Parks Priuses here. If you can see it, it's in the back. And that's going to help us like push our program forward into the world of EV and hopefully into fully electric vehicles soon. All right, so some of the things that we've been doing in terms of best practices here is focusing on culturally responsive education and applying lessons that we learned from CRE prior to COVID, during COVID, and trying to deal with the world that is post-COVID and apply these lessons to the classroom. So Dave and Mike are the other two teachers at the school, and we've been collecting data from our students to just see how we're doing and like trying to change our instruction to kind of meet their needs, because you know these kids were kind of in a vacuum and now they're back into the classroom, and they were in many instances were without focused shop class for the same amount of time that they may have normally had prior to COVID. So we're trying to collect as much information from them as possible on a weekly basis, and then take that information and apply it to our practice. So we're constantly trying to see how we're doing and update that. And we're generally getting good feedback with what we're doing, and any kind of critical feedback, which we do get pretty often. We try to take those lessons and apply them. The feedback is totally anonymous. I don't have the kids put their names on it, and then we do discuss it as a whole group, and that allows us to try to tailor our program to meet the needs of all of the learners in the building. We want to make this place a place where all students can feel comfortable and learn and have a lifelong skill that they can apply to the real world. We've also been doing some pretty serious assessment and going through each one of once we finish a unit, we'll go through and we'll actually take a look at the data of how the kids did, go through each type of question, break the test down by type of question and also unit questions, and then try to focus our efforts into pushing those areas back to the students. So we're trying to have this feedback loop that gives each kid the most individualized experience as possible, and in this skill that we're trying to move them to. Some challenges that we've been facing, definitely for me personally, getting back into teaching in person. I was lucky enough, we had a baby last year, so I was lucky enough that my principal in my old school did let me stay home. Even though I was at work, she let me work from home and teach remotely. So I haven't really been in the classroom for like a year and a half. So getting back into the classroom, starting a brand new career in a brand new school, brand new subject matter in a brand new school has been frankly bananas, right? And so learning like 200 new names, learning styles of new kids, reading new IEPs, navigating new school systems, it's been really overwhelming. And I honestly feel super lucky that Mike and Dave and Agron have been here, because they've been really supportive, like pulling me in, making me feel welcome, and that's been great. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you for also being here for this meeting. And then the other challenges that we have, which are things that I didn't really anticipate, I would say is that, you know, like when we're pulling in cars from staff members and community members, sometimes they can't show up, or sometimes parts don't arrive. And it can be hard and challenging to plan your lessons around that. But it's really super valuable to have that real world experience, because these are things that happen in a real shop. And so the kids are rolling with those punches, right? So it's really nice. They're learning how to be flexible. They're learning how to think on their feet. They're learning how to be more productive and to be the most efficient that they can be. And Dave and Mike and I are really pushing them, you know, to try to plan their day around the changes that are happening with that, you know? So, and then the other challenges we're having is like, you know, if we have a car coming in for an oil change, you know, how do we tailor the lesson to, you know, if the car also needs a different part, you know, so if it comes in and needs an oil change, we also notice that, you know, the right front tire is worn improperly and we want to suggest an alignment. So we're trying to, you know, Dave has done a really great job at doing this in the past. He's been teaching me a lot, but trying to fit these lessons in, like if the oil change takes longer than it might normally take or something like that, to try to also fit in the the more academic lesson as well. We've implemented an automotive scheduling system to try to help with this, and it's working really well, which it's been really helpful for that. Okay, and then I want to talk about some future goals. This is the really exciting stuff. So as you can see in the background, we have the 07 Prius, and it came in. It's hilarious. Thank you to the Parks Department and DCAS for getting that for us. It was pretty funny when the Parks, the flatbed dropped it off, because I didn't realize that it didn't have a catalytic converter. I guess somebody had taken it out, and one of our students called it right away. He's like, that is the most commonly taken catalytic converter next to the Ford F-150. And so he's like, I bet it's the cat. And so we got it up on the rack, and we know right away, you know, the cat was missing. But the Parks Department driver didn't tell us that it was missing. So when I went to go back it off the flatbed, it fired up, and it's really loud. It's too fast, too furious, you know? So it's, but the kids are excited. They actually want to put it back together. They want to get a cat, put it back in. The oxygen sensor was also cut. They want to put the oxygen sensor back in. And so it's a bit of a primitive hybrid, but the kids are really excited to learn about the hybrid systems from, you know, earlier, and kind of work those into, you know, as those hybrid systems develop. So this is like, you know, phase one for them. We're also trying here to push out a little bit more of my expertise into the automotive program, possibly start a new CTE program revolving around auto body collision. And so I've been trying to make community partnerships with people that I know that are in this industry on Staten Island that are local. So we have a local paint supplier at the SI Auto Body, Staten Island Paint is going to be providing us with materials to actually give this car a paint job. So we're going to do some paintless dent repair on that. We're going to do some real paint dent repair, and then we're going to prime it and we're going to paint it. The kids want to do midnight purple, and we were talking about giving it like a race theme, and giving it the racing number, the actual number, the fleet number that was on the car prior to it being retired, you know, giving some homage to that. So that's super exciting. And in addition to that, we really want to integrate more science, literacy, and math skills into the CTE practice. And so some ways that I know how to do that from my physics background and my design background is adding 3D design programming and actual programming to this. So kids actually being able to either design a sensor or take an existing automotive sensor and like learn how the data moves through it, or the data that it generates. That's one thing they could do, or designing their own components in Fusion 360, and then actually creating that using either additive or subtractive manufacturing. So we have a few 3D printers that will be coming in. We're also considering buying a CNC plasma cutter, so the ability to make custom parts. Adding to this as well, the science of like metallurgy, you know, auto body shops, there's like a little bit of everything that occurs in the auto body shop. Lots of metal work, you know, there's like working with bronze and steel, and now increasingly more aluminum, and understanding the types of chemical reactions that occur between those things. These are all valuable science lessons that we want to push out. And also the chemical science that occurs in paint, you know, like when paint is flashing in the booth, or when we're layering paint on a car, like the amount of time it takes for those processes to dry, and the adhesion between them changes, and the types of temperatures and the way that hardeners work. And all of these things are valuable lessons that can extend beyond this, but also create partnerships within the school to the science department. So these are all things that we've been talking about. And as we continue to go through our data and our assessment and push these changes to our program and trying to keep current. And we're essentially trying to prepare our students to enter the field of automotive in a few different ways, right? They can go to a trade school if they want. They can go work in a private shop, like right here, even as a sophomore, or junior, or senior, they can just go do that. They can start their own business. Or if they're here because they like cars, but maybe they don't want to be a mechanic, this can hopefully also be a springboard to not just, you know, turning a wrench, but also possibly going into automotive engineering or aerospace engineering. That's something I'm really interested in personally. So I really want to push that to the kids too. And then, you know, to try to make this fun and to try to promote a greater culture of love of vehicles, to also promote the idea of alternative energy sources, renewable energy sources. I really want to continue Dave's work with the UNITA challenge. I don't know what that acronym stands for currently. I keep seeing it and I know what it is, but if Dave could chime in and just tell me what that is, because I think it's Greater New York area something. But it's a challenge where the kids get to go and work on modern cars, and they compete as teams to try to solve problems with those cars. And in addition to that, I'm also involved, I was involved with the Staten Island Tech solar car program, and they competed in the United States Solar Car Challenge. And that's something we are really well equipped at Mckee to create our own team, possibly partner with the Staten Island Tech team to create, you know, a kind of a coalition. But the idea here is that in that challenge, students are tasked with designing, like researching, designing, building, and then actually driving a solar powered car of their own design, of their own thoughts are applied to a real world product at the end, where they can use these additive and subtractive manufacturing techniques and create a real vehicle. And then that vehicle has to be driven on the road, in some instances up to 2,000 miles on real United States roads, and it has to work. And so that is, like, for me, one of the most authentic challenges that students could participate in, you know, in addition to turning a wrench in a shop, that they could actually construct the vehicle on their own and then go drive the thing. That's really cool. And then also, in addition to that, partnering with engineering and design firms locally, but also, you know, large firms like even like the Port Authority, or and within city agencies as well, and to build pathways to improve student outcomes for the kids here at Mckee, right? So that's what I got. It's great to be here. It's really exciting to see all these people on here that I've never met. And thanks, Gav. I really appreciate the invitation.
You got it. Thanks, TJ. TJ, are you sure one of the Mckee kids didn't take that CAT converter when you weren't looking?
You know, I would, you know, I don't know if I'd be proud or upset.
All right. Well, Keith has offered to, I'm going to put Keith on the spot. Keith has offered to replace that for you in case it's integral to your instruction.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It would, yeah, you know, we're having a problem with these cats, especially on the Priuses being stolen. I think there was whether New York Times or other piece on it more globally recently. So yeah, I didn't realize that they had given you one where the cat had been stolen. No, these things happen.
I don't think they knew either.
They might. We've been dealing with it all over the place. So yeah, but in any case, reach out to Eric. Well, if you need it replaced, we'll replace it for you.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. And any questions, any comments for TJ before we move on?
Great program. I'm hearing share. Just wanted to mention that my school recently signed up with Solid Professor that has an excellent curriculum for Fusion 360, self-paced for the students, and Inventor, and all various CAD softwares. Engage with them, and we know to get them as a New York City vendor.
Yeah, I can jump into it.
Is that my computer or is anyone else having trouble?
No, it's his computer.
Okay.
Can I jump in, Gav?
Yeah, go. All right. So Rowan, sorry to cut you off. I think you're having some difficulties there with your computer. Agron, go for it.
So one of the things that that we have at the school, if you're all not aware, I'm sure most of you are, we have 7 CTE programs in the school. 6 of them are currently state certified. The last one is getting state certified this year, which is our software engineering program. But we have a lot of interchangeable programs, and I don't mean interchangeable is the wrong word. We have a lot of programs that can mix with each other. So for example, when TJ is talking about, you know, Inventor and Fusion and things like that, like we have an architectural drafting program that's actually is now we're starting to move that and change that over into more of like mechanical engineering, you know, so we can start creating that loop between our automotive, our engineering program, our carpentry program, our electrical program, which is also connected with Solar One, so this way we can really create a really good circle, with all these programs, including our graphic design program and our digital media and communications program, that does a lot of social media advertising and things of that nature. So we're really looking at a nice, big, full circle when it comes to all of these programs and getting them to be intertwined with one another, so that not only can the programs help one another, but that the kids themselves can see the links between everything, and that not one thing in itself is solely for itself, but that there are many avenues around every one of our programs.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thank you, Agron. Anyone else? All right.
I have a comment.
Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anna Barshenko. I'm a business service manager. I'm supporting internship development, and many of you have seen me around, and we've worked for many years. So just wanted to bring a question out. We are focusing on developing automotive and transportation, construction engineering opportunities. Given the times, given that a lot of opportunities are transitioned to be virtual, what are some opportunities that you as teachers feel you'd like to see us bring more of, so that we can kind of support the program, support the needs of students, and at the same time sort of adjust with this to this virtual environment?
Well, so personally, I was excited earlier about what I heard. There was virtual training for EVs and hybrid car systems. So technical training or meetings between students and engineers working on the types of challenges that the modern industry is looking at right now. When you were earlier, when it was brought up that the school bus system was going fully electric, the thing that popped into my mind is, like, I think what might be the dream of a modern city would be like swarm capable robotic buses that would just pick kids up and drop them off and like safely do that, and so I think that's probably where the industry is going, at least that's in conversations that I've had with people. And so something like that would be really cool if we could get to talk to people that are on the cutting edge of programming autonomous vehicles, and also cutting edge battery technology. What is the greatest discharge rate, the greatest charge rate? What are the most efficient solar cells looking like right now? And like, what are the plans to upgrade the infrastructure to support the electric vehicles? And also looking ahead so that we don't fall into the same trap that, internal combustion engines put us in. There's some talk about lithium mining and how it's not really sustainable. And so like, what are the next steps? So I think that for me personally, that type of training will be extremely helpful for our students to be exposed to.
All right. Thanks, TJ. Anyone else? Any sort of particular internships that you are looking for your CTE kids? All right. Okay. All right, so thank you for that, Anna. And next we're going to hear from a guy where whenever we talk about automotive excellence, he's the guy that comes to mind. Ken Benson Jr., great buddy of mine, great industry partner as well. I'm going to turn it over to you, Ken. Ken is from the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. And in case you did not know, all of our 7 automotive schools, they all implement the ASC certification assessment. So it's a pleasure to have you on board with us, Ken. So Ken, go for it. Take it away.
Thanks, Gav. Thanks for your support. We sure do appreciate it. TJ, congratulations. Glad to meet you, and I'm glad somebody else remembers the Chrysler Gem. I spent a part of my career with that company, so been around the industry a long time. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the ASC world and also in the world of where I sit, which is on the educational side. So my background's in the industry, and I'll keep this as brief as possible. But my background's in the industry, and I had the opportunity to serve on the ed side a couple of years ago by my request. and give back to an industry that's been great to our family. So that's how I ended up here. I'd like to step you through some thoughts, some ideas. What's going on the ASE front. I'll talk a little bit about some updates from the ASE side and also what we're doing on the foundation side. There's a lot going on. The industry it's a great industry. As you know, the transportation industry is huge. And we are the benchmark in the industry from a certification side and from an accreditation side. Certification side on the professional side, also including the teachers and the students, and also accreditation on the side of the programs in the schools. So I'll touch on both of those areas. I want to spend a little bit of time, a very short period of time. We launched a recertification platform. I think we're almost 3 years old now, if you count the pilot in. I've been using it since the beginning of the pilot. And for our instructors that are out there on the automotive side, that would be when you get into the detail, it's certification A1 through A9. That recertification can be done in a mobile environment now. If you haven't experimented with that, by all means, from an instructional base, if you're a supervisor or you're an instructor, please, by all means, step into that arena. That's from the educational side. It includes a lot of great tools for the instructors. We're really trying to move that testing component into the realm of education and not just pure testing, because when you step into that platform or that application, not only do we test, but also will we allow the student or the instructor in that recertification process to look at why they got a question right and why they may not have gotten a question right. So there's some really good learning tools that go in there. It helps them keep their edge sharp, because it's not just normal questions and questioning techniques. It goes a little bit deeper for the professional. And more to come on that. We're starting to develop more and more of that as we get success in the automotive sector. Our hope is then to expand it into collision and also into truck. I handle all three on the foundation side. So really it's there to keep the edge sharp. Some things that we do both on the ASE side and on the foundation side. We've been doing Tuesday night instructor training and Tuesday night technician tech sessions since April of 2020, when some of this craziness started. I'm getting, you hear the term out there, new normal. I'm believing better than normal. I think we're going to come out the other side of this thing and learn some things that are going to be incredible for our industry, both on the ed side and on the professional side. So, but we do technical sessions every Tuesday night. I can get that information to Gav if you're not involved in that already. I can get you an invite to, we do an hour every Tuesday night. And it's been very beneficial to our instructors and also to our technicians. Anybody in that realm, I've got a lot of students using that too. If you're an ASE certified person, those invitations are typically attached to your professional credentials, whatever email's attached. What's going on the testing side? We've done a lot with Spanish testing, expanding our reach. We do it right now in automotive tests A1 through A9, and also we added G1 in, so that is available in Spanish, and that's kind of a neutral Spanish. If you know a lot about the Spanish dialects, we tried to use something in the neutral realm, so that way it's understandable by all the different dialects. Those are out there now. We use what we call switch method, which means the student can actually, or the person testing, professional student, we call them students while they're testing, they can switch back between English and Spanish. So there's a lot of good stuff going on out there. I'm looking for feedback from our professionals that are out there taking those exams now. We've got other exams under development, ADAS or ADAS, driver assist systems or automated driver assist systems that range from blind spot detection all the way up through just about autonomous. Those certification components are under development. That world is changing faster than anybody can believe, and that impacts auto, it impacts collision, and it impacts truck. So keep that in mind. And there's the address for our renewal app. I encourage our professionals out that are using our renewal app that there are forums both on Facebook and LinkedIn out there that we monitor to help answer questions on what's going on in that arena. All good stuff. So what's going on the foundation side? That's where I serve. Some things on the ASE Education Foundation side. I want to talk a little bit about our Adopt a School Toolkit that just launched 2 Mondays ago. All right, so good stuff there. You're right on the edge of that. Talk a little bit about Instructor Resources. We offer a lot of resources for our instructors out there, both in accredited and in non-accredited programs. I want to talk for a moment about entry-level credentials. Gav, thank you for using those. There are so many benefits to that in the industry. And if you need more support from my side, please reach out. I can get you all kinds of tools for that. And we also enable New York is all enabled for remote proctoring. So if you want to do remote proctoring on that to save your lab time, we can work with you on that too. I want to spend a moment on program accreditation and why it's important in our world today. The Adopt a School Toolkit, if you have not heard about this yet, one of the things that we realized in the industry, I can be a little candid here. I don't know another way to be. That's the trainer in me that sneaks out. In the industry, when education doesn't work with industry and industry doesn't work with education, there can be a huge disconnect. We're here to support, industry's here to support education and education supports industry. And what we realized was sometimes we're called to do things that we may not be comfortable with. And many times that's somebody that has never spoken, never presented at a school before. They're all of a sudden somebody from industry is asked to come in and talk to the students, and they've never done that before. So it ranges from there, or how to conduct an advisory board meeting, or how to have job shadowing happen in your business. All kinds of things. We've put a whole bucket of tools out there, actually in 8 different buckets, to help industry work with education and education work with industry. Yeah, and I know it's right now it's kind of specific to the transportation industry, but if you think about that broader, some of those tools can be repurposed and used in multiple sectors out there. So the way that starts is, whether you're a business or you're in education, I encourage you, stop in on our website, ASE Education Foundation. It's actually .org. Somehow that got dropped off. So it's aseeducationfoundation.org. If you look right at the top of the screen, there's no login required. There's a button that says Adopt a School. Next image that comes up is that one right there. And when you jump into that website, and I can go real deep on this. I promised Gav I wouldn't. But what will happen is, when people jump into that website, they scroll all the way down. There's a short little form on the bottom that they fill out to become involved. We don't market anything. We are a nonprofit. We don't market anything. We don't market to people. We offer our services to people. Our tools and our services are free. And we offer them to the whole industry. But the reason we ask them to kind of sign up for this is not, I want to know who's using them, and because I want to be able to make them better. That's the goal, is as people use our toolbox, or they come up with, hey, wouldn't it be cool to have a whatever? There's video content in there, there's PowerPoint content in there that fits all the different things we do, that industry does to interface with education, and education uses to interface with industry. They're tools to help you get those processes to work better. We want to know who's using them. And at the same time, we don't want to know where the good ideas are coming from. A lot of the content that's in there was put together by our schools. And they're the best at doing something, and they're sharing it with the world. So that's really what this was about. We call it just add water and stir. All right, so the tools are there to make it all work, and are going to, the more people that use them, the better they get, the more things that get added in there. So I encourage you to jump in on our site, aseeducationfoundation.org, and it's Adopt a School. You'll see it right at the top of the screen. What else is out there on the same site? Instructor Resources. There's a ton of instructor resources that are out there. By all means, please use them. Please encourage your instructors, your facilities to use them. If they log in on our site, right in the middle, there's an orange button that talks about updates. Actually, it says virus update. We've changed the terminology a little bit once in a while, but there are a ton of instructor resources that are tabbed in behind there, and they're at zero cost to the schools. All right, by all means, take advantage. There's far more than one program could use. There's stuff for collision. There's tons of content in there for automotive, and there's a lot of content in there for truck also. So keep that in mind. I should say truck and diesel, because diesel fits well into the maritime arena also. So keep that in mind. There's tons of resources out there from us. One of those resources I mentioned before, we do Tuesday nights from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you need access to this, that Gab can send me a note. I actually write the schedules. I'd be happy to send them to you. We encourage instructors, students, and technicians to check in with us. If an instructor wants to use this material in class, by all means, they're free to use it. Now, what if you can't be there from 4 to 5? Well, if you register, we automatically, upon registration, if you do not attend, we send you a follow-up email. Inside that follow-up emails, there's a registration for the recorded version. So the content's there for you to use. By all means, our business partners, our foundation partners supply the content, whether it's an instructor presenting or it's an instructor dropping his content in there and saying you're free to have it. We've been doing it now since April of 20, and I'll tell you what, there has been so much good content out there. So keep that in mind if you're not currently involved with that. Some of the other things that we have out there for your newer instructors, especially in the automotive sector, we offer inside of our resources tab an instructor guide, both digitally, and there's actually a site that runs behind that too. It ranges from how to do a quality advisory board meeting to planning lessons to building agendas, how to manage my lab. There's all kinds of things in there. They're just tools to be used. By all means, they're zero cost. There's a ton of stuff out there that we have that just to help the industry and help the instructors do a better job. Entry-level certifications, I look at these as work-ready credentials. That's exactly what they are. They take such an important part in the industry. Thank you for using them. The industry is realizing now one of our best-kept secrets. Entry-level certification, what used to be called student testing, is probably one of our best-kept secrets. It really fills the gap between the professional arena and the student. It is the bridge. The tests are written by industry for industry. They're written in the same way our regular certification tests are written. The only big difference there is they bias towards theory and not toward the diagnosis. The professional requires a lot more experience. So that's really where the diagnostic component fits in. So the tests are very valid. It is a credential your student walks in with when they're looking to enter the industry. It stays with them for 2 years, which is the requirement for the professional series. To participate on the professional side, they need to have 2 years of experience. So keep that in mind. They're important. If you're not currently using our 609 refrigerant certification in your automotive or your transportation classes, Gab, you're welcome to reach out to me on that. I can help you out with that one. That is an important credential. It's very important to the EPA also. So keep that in mind. Our entry level certification, I can spend an hour just on that. We did enable remote proctoring for all the schools, at least all the schools in my area. So by all means, if you need to use that, reach out to me. I can help you through that process. I'd be remiss if I wouldn't talk about some of the things that are coming up. This year, we did a virtual instructor conference, just like we did the year before. In 22, we are planning on doing it live again for a week in Texas. That's out there right now, so keep that in mind. I spoke at that conference many years, and it's valuable to the instructor. It's also valuable to the industry. So please keep that in mind. I'm hoping we can do this face-to-face also. I'm looking forward to being able to step back into the city. A lot of my roots are just north of the city. So that's where I started my professional career track, was just north. I covered New York City. So with that said, I'm one of those people that are on your screen right now. That's the group that covers the country. Behind that, it's available right at the top of our website. It says find a rep. So if you're ever looking for my contact information, that's an easy way to find it. My cell phone's on there. My email address is on there. And Gab's got all my contact information too. So our industry partners, this grows every day. So we're involved with lots of people in the industry, and a lot more come into our foundation each week. So we are built by industry for industry, and we're out there to support education and to support a great industry. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. If you need some information out there, asceeducationfoundation.org, info@asceeducationfoundation.org, and my email address is up on your screen now. Feel free to reach out. TJ, if you need anything, by all means, reach out. I'd love to get this every program in New York accredited. Accreditation, and that's kind of where I'm going to stop. Accreditation is building a program to meet national standards. Those standards are built by industry for industry. So if you've got questions in that area, if you need to get down that pathway or get on that pathway, reach out to me. I'll help you out with that, because that's what I do. It's really what the industry is looking for. The industry is looking for programs that meet national standard. All right. Thank you for the invite. And with that, I'm all done. Gav, back to you.
Excellent, Ken. Thank you for that. That was fabulous. I had a question for you. I noticed that you mentioned Spanish tests are available. That's an excellent resource, I believe, for our teachers. We have 40% Hispanic population in DOE. Out of curiosity, and it's okay if you don't have an answer right this moment, but are there any resources available for our kids that have disabilities? Is that also a resource that you can provide?
Can you get a little more specific?
All right, so we may have students that have maybe learning disabilities. We may have students that have maybe hard of hearing, visual impairment. So we have a variety of different special needs. If there's any sort of resources within that arena as well, I'd love to connect with you so that we can either further discuss, or that you can connect me to any resources you have available so that I can let our teachers know about it. Because that's been one of our priority areas for this school year and moving forward. All right, so let's take
that one offline a little bit, Gav. Yeah. But I'd be happy to work on it with you.
Excellent, excellent. Sounds good to me. Any questions, comments for Ken before we move on?
Great to see a lot of familiar names.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we're gonna move into announcements. I know we're a little bit over time. I just wanted this meeting to be about an hour long. I'm not gonna take too much of your time. I'm gonna open it up for announcements. And first, I wanted to turn it over to Sarah Murphy from EDC. Sarah, are you still with us?
Hi, Gav. Yep, I'm still here.
Yeah, Sarah, go for it.
Great. Just a very quick announcement for the group. Sarah Murphy with the New York City Economic Development Corporation. In the past, we've put on the Maritime and Freight Logistics Career Awareness Fair. Just wanted to let everybody know that we are planning on putting that back on the calendar again for this school year. We're looking at a time in perhaps in late March, tentatively. So we'll have more information to share about that as planning gets underway. So this will be an offshore wind and maritime career awareness fair. Had a lot of CTE attendance in the past. So looking forward to inviting you all when we have some more information to share. That's
okay. Great. Thank you, Sarah. So any materials you have, Sarah, just please shoot that over to me so that I could distribute it to our schools and our commission members. And Ken, can you just do me a favor? Drop your email address into the chat box. We do have Harbor School in attendance, and Harbor School located on Governor's Island. They deal with everything maritime related, so they'd love to connect with you. So please, can you just share your email address in the chat box?
Be happy to, Gav.
Okay, great. All right. Any other announcements? All right. If there are none others, I wanted to announce that we are currently in need of career and technical education teachers. Gerard D'Ambrosio, he had to hop off because he has a 4 o'clock class to teach, but I'm still looking for automotive technology teachers, all right? So specifically for Tottenville High School, located South Shore area of Staten Island. Anyone, if you know of anyone, or if even you are interested in making that transition over into the classroom, please send your resume to me. You don't need a college degree. You don't have to even have 20 different ASC certifications, all right? So basically what we're looking for is if you have an associate's degree, 2 years work experience will count. If you don't have an associate's degree, if you have at least 4 years, full-time automotive technician duties, that can also count as well. So anyone within your network who wants to be a full-time automotive teacher, please shoot me their resume or connect us. And also, many of us may not be aware of this, but within this Automotive and Transportation Commission, we also have a CTE program that deals with logistics and supply chain management. And I'm referring to Urban Assembly School of Global Commerce. They're located in Harlem and Manhattan section of New York City. So if you know of anyone from the supply chain or logistics sector that is interested in teaching full-time, again, you can just shoot that email over to me. There are other commissions that I oversee. I'm going to be combining the construction and sustainability with the engineering and architecture commission for our meeting on, I should say November 15th, actually, not November 5, but November 15th. Anyone who is interested in that sector, if you have any sort of industry partners within these sectors, please invite them to that meeting Monday, November 15th at 3 to 4:30. And I'm going to drop the link for the attendance in the chat box. Please, before you sign out, make sure that you fill that out for me. And if you are requesting CTLE credits, you can use that attendance form to indicate that as well. So that's the link right there in the chat box. Are there any other announcements, questions, comments before we log off? All right, I guess not. Well, thank you so much for a very, very fruitful discussion. We had over 40 in attendance. Really appreciate it. Really glad to see everybody. And please, let's keep in touch. All resources will be on our public Google Drive. And as always, if you have any sort of questions or comments, please feel free to shoot them that way.
Thanks for the invite, Gav.
Yep, you got it. Thanks, Ken. Thank you, Tony. Good seeing you. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Debbie.
Hi, Carl.
Thanks, Rosie. Thanks, Kathy.
Thanks, Gav.
You got it.
Good job, Gav.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Mr. Spencer. I got to connect with you, man. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Good things are happening, man. We need to see our new lab.
Oh, wait, do you guys have a next advisory scheduled yet?
It's coming up soon. I'll send you the note.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Did the guy send you the resume?
Oh, yes. I sent it over to school so far.
Okay.
Okay, yep, thank you for that. You got it.
All right. Yeah.
Hey, Gav, pleasure meeting you.
Oh yeah, thanks, Dan.
Yes, yeah, we'll maybe we'll catch up. I'll give you a ring. I had some trouble logging in. That was me, I think, trying to get in touch with you.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
great. I'm glad you were able to make it in. And I'm actually a friend of Joe Gammas, by the way, because we've done some work
nice.
together.
I wasn't aware of that. That's great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, Joe works for me. Okay, great.
Yeah. We did some work. So we're both members of Alfred Smith CTE Schools Advisory Board. So
Nice.
just like this meeting, we have various CTE schools that they have it at the school level. So he's a member of Alfred Smith's advisory board over there in South Bronx. So that's how me and him were able to connect.
Oh, that's excellent. Great. All right, so we'll talk soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks again.
Okay, all right.